we go with the Mossberg 500. Recently, I asked you guys, what is your favorite shotgun and why? Now, using those comments, I've come up with what could be the two most popular shotguns on the planet. That's what we're going to talk about today, so let's go. What's up, crew? It's Chris from CloverTac. Welcome back to the channel. And a big thank you to everybody that commented out there on the YouTube community tab, the Cloverfield Facebook group, and Instagram. Now, right off the bat, one thing that I noticed through these comments is I don't know that there was any mention of bullpup shotguns, something like maybe from Kel-Tec or Smith & Wesson. And you might get chastised on other channels for that, but on this channel, you know, I'm not a big fan of bullpups, so really didn't have a problem with it. Now, with that out of the way, I will say there was a lot of different brands and a lot of different models mentioned. We had Benelli's, we had Winchesters, we had Charles Daly, we had Browning, and a lot of others. And a common theme amongst all of the shotguns that were kind of suggested out there in the comments was pump shotguns. And I don't have a problem with that either. I think a pump shotgun is a really reliable design. It's been around for many, many years. Not much you can do with a pump shotgun. You can, of course, with aftermarket accessories and things of that nature, but as far as the inherent design, pretty solid design from day one. So out of all of the shotguns mentioned, the Remington 870 got a lot of love, as well as the Mossberg 500. We're going to talk about some of the similarities, differences of these shotguns today, and put a few rounds through each, of course. The Remington 870 started production, I think, about 1950 or so. With the Mossberg 500, production started about 1961, I believe. As far as the amount produced, well over the 10 million produced range on each of these. And since the 870 come out about a decade earlier, I think that speaks a lot to the production speed and maybe popularity of the Mossberg 500. Again, it did get more mentions. Now, with either of these, throughout the years, throughout the decades, you've got various models with various features, and that lends itself to a lot of different types of uses. And I think that's why you see both the Remington 870 as well as the Mossberg 500 used in everything from competitions to obviously hunting, to defensive use, as well as even military and law enforcement use historically. Now, when we get into the design of these shotguns and the similarities, again, there's lots of different models. So even though both of these, the Remington 870 and the Mossberg 500, have 28-inch vent-ribbed barrels with removable chokes, both capable of the 2 3/4 or 3-inch shells, using those, both wood furniture, that's going to kind of depend on the model itself. And the differences are going to be the same way. You notice that on this Mossberg 500, we do have a ported barrel. We've got a gold colored trigger, and that's just options. Not all Mossberg 500s are going to have that. Sort of in the same way, you've got the Remington 870, and you notice we've got an extended magazine tube. That speaks to the aftermarket accessories available for either one of these. So you could very easily have an extended tube on a Mossberg 500 as well. The one difference, I think, that kind of sticks out like a sore thumb, and before I get to that, let me mention another thing. This Mossberg 500 is also drilled in tap. You could put an optics rail or a scope rail on top of it. And my Remington 870, much older model than the Mossberg 500 here, not drilled in tap, but one of the defining characteristics, for me anyway, of a Mossberg is it has the safety up top here on the receiver, whereas the Remington 870 has a more traditional button safety that is down there on the trigger guard. Now let's put a few rounds through these shotguns so you can kind of get an idea of what they will do. I'm going to be using some number 8 Winchester Universal shells. These are just cheap target loads more than anything. Not really great for semi-automatic shotguns, but in a pump action, for a brake action, maybe even a lever action, gonna work fine. Before we get the rounds downrange though, as always, safety first. Got my eyes on my ears in. Let's do this. Ooh, doggy. The smell of gunpowder is nice. And there is the Remington 870. This one actually the 870 Express Magnum. Now let's move on. Put that one to the side. Grab this Mossberg 500. Let's load this puppy up. Same Winchester Universal number 8s. And even though this one has that ported barrel, honestly, as far as recoil and all of that goes, really doesn't make a whole lot of difference in my opinion. Here we go with the Mossberg 500. Yeah, buddy. So yeah, there we go with what, at least by my estimation and through the comments that you guys left out there on the social media channels, the two most popular shotguns on the planet, both pump shotguns, the Remington 870 and my favorite, honestly, and the one that really got the most comments, the Mossberg 500, just because of my past experience, a little bit of sentimental value and things of that nature. I gravitate more toward the Mossberg 500, but both phenomenal shotguns have definitely withstood the test of time. So if you're looking for more shotgun content here on the channel, I got you fixed up right over here. As for this one, we're done. So thanks for hanging out. Thanks for watching. And until next time, don't forget to chain fire freedom.